President Hu Jintao stresses the need to do more to save energy and develop renewable energy resources. Chinese Navy ships plan to visit Japan as part of increasing consultations on defense between the two countries. China seeks to strengthen its auto industry by restructuring and putting fewer companies in the driver's seat. And experts try to wake people up to the need for a good night's rest on World Sleep Day. Welcome to China Today with me, Wei Sulok in Beijing. President Hu Jintao has called for continued effort to save energy and develop renewable energy resources. Hu Jintao was speaking on a visit to an energy science exhibition. He was accompanied by other leaders, including NPC Chairman Wu Bangguo and Premier Wen Jiabao. Here's Li Xiang with our top story.
Nearly 300 companies from China and around the world are taking part in the show at the Beijing Exhibition Hall. On display are cutting-edge products ranging from fuel cell cars to hybrid vehicles to gadgets featuring new energy-saving technologies. The Chinese leaders took the opportunity to talk with some of the inventors and find out about their innovation experience. New inventions could be the answer, as China seeks to put saving energy and reducing emissions at the core of growth. A government work report delivered at the country's annual NPC session earlier this month says China will continue its drive to save energy, cut emissions, preserve ecosystems, and protect the environment in 2009. The report says the government will emphasize energy conservation in the three key areas of industry, transportation, and construction this year. At the exhibition, President Hu Jintao stressed that enhancing energy saving and promoting emission reductions are important for sustainable development. He emphasized that China should continue to promote energy saving and develop renewable energy sources despite the global financial crisis. He also called for strict monitoring measures for energy conservation. President Hu Jintao was welcomed to the exhibition by school students. The president was happy to hear that their musical instruments and these badminton rackets were all made of waste material by the students themselves. He also called on young people to pay attention to energy saving in their daily lives. Li Xiang, CCTV.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Science and Technology, Wang Gang, says the government is placing greater importance on conserving energy and reducing emissions, and that's despite increasing economic pressure. Ren Ting takes a closer look.
Sacrifice of the environment for economic growth used to be accepted by quite a lot of people in China, but that's no longer the case. And amid the global financial crisis, China is even more aware of problems relating to the environment. Many Chinese officials and experts express such concerns at the forum. They're worried that some local governments may still focus on boosting the economy while ignoring environmental protection. This has actually already happened, according to official statistics. In order to deal with the problem, environmental protection sectors have rejected projects worth some 30 billion yuan since the country launched its 4 trillion yuan stimulus package last year. And experts reaffirm the significance of a green GDP amid the financial crisis. They suggested to stick to a system to curb emissions and strengthen law enforcement on environment management and supervision. Ren Ting, CCTV.
On the pressing matter of saving energy, we have Zhou Dadi on the line. He joins us on the telephone. He's a research fellow at the Energy Research Institute of the National Development and Reform Commission. Hello, Mr. Zhou.
Hi.
All right, thank you. Thanks for joining us on China Today. Let's start. Can you highlight the major difficulties China faces in its efforts to save energy and also as it works to steer its way out of the financial crisis?
I think that's the two aspects of the difficulties. One is for the enterprises because many of them are facing financial difficulties, so they would have difficulties to raise enough fund for their energy conservation projects. And on the other hand, because the local governments still want to raise the GDP first, so sometimes they pay more attention on the investments in the infrastructure. So in this case, we need to do more work on the energy conservation.
All right, thank you. On that, if we stay on the conflict of GDP and saving energy, what strategies can you think of for dealing with this particular type of difficulty?
I think to change the trends of the slower down the GDP, we need not only to put the emphasis on the investments on the infrastructure, but pay more attention on the investments on the technology innovation and the energy conservation and environmental protection projects. Not to increase additional more capacity of production, but to improve the quality of the production is more important in my understanding.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. That was Mr. Zhou Dadi, Research Fellow at the Energy Research Institute at China's top economic planner. Now, last year, China made several achievements in energy saving and emissions reduction as largely a result of government efforts to enhance energy efficiency and fulfill its promise of a truly green Olympics. The central government allocated more than 42 billion yuan to support energy conservation and on projects to protect the environment. Thousands of small thermal power generators and coal mines were shut down. Energy consumption per unit of GDP fell by nearly 4.6% from the previous year, while emissions of sulfur dioxide were cut by nearly 6%. The government also carried out a set of environmental protection measures ranging from returning farmland to forests to controlling water pollution. The World Trade Organization has rejected most U.S. complaints about the protection of intellectual property rights in China. The Ministry of Commerce says these findings show recognition of China's efforts to protect IPR. Zhou Xiaoye with this story.
Ministry spokesman Yao Jian said a report from the WTO's dispute settlement panel denied most of the complaints raised by the United States and recognized China's measures to protect IPR. He made the remarks after the WTO dispute settlement body approved the panel's report Friday. The panel was established in April 2007 in response to a U.S. request that China's IPR situation be investigated. The complaints raised by the United States included the claims that trademark counterfeiting and copyright piracy were not prosecuted, and customs authorities only removed infringing features when dealing with counterfeit goods.
Out of 11 complaints, the U.S. won only 2 and got 3/5 of what it sought in a third complaint. After the WTO passes this report, we'll try our best to carry it out. China is determined to protect IPR, and we will work hard to do so in the future. IPR protection is in line with China's economic development and global development.
Yao Jian says IPR protection will not only improve China's investment environment, but also enhance creativity. He reiterated that China favors dialogue and cooperation to protect IPR. Zhou Xiaoye, CCTV.
The National Audit Office is carrying out a nationwide audit to supervise and investigate waste, as well as illegal use of funds from the country's 4 trillion yuan stimulus package. Inspection teams have already been dispatched. Another major task over the next 3 years is monitoring rebuilding after the earthquake in Sichuan province. The emphasis will be on the administration of building materials as well as their quality. The audit results will then be made public to ensure the safe and effective use of funds. Oh, this is China Today, only on CCTV International. Still ahead on our program. China plans to strengthen its auto industry by restructuring and putting fewer companies in the driver's seat. And 8 more senior government officials are punished for supervisory failure in the Sanlu milk powder scandal. Chinese Navy ships are expected to visit Japan later this year. This is according to a press communique released by the defense ministries from both countries on Friday. The announcement follows talks between Chinese Defense Minister Liang Guanglie and visiting Japanese Defense Minister, that's Yasukazu Hamada. The statement says Liang will visit Japan in 2009 as a follow-up to Hamada's visit to China. It also says Chinese and Japanese Navy ships will continue to make visits to each other's countries in the future. China and Japan are scheduled to hold defense and security consultations in Tokyo this year. The communique says China and Japan will continue discussions on building a maritime liaison mechanism. It says the second expert group consultation on this mechanism will be held in the first half of this year. Now, earlier we spoke to a senior research fellow at the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences. Mr. Tao Wenzhao gave his views on the Sino-Japanese press communique, as well as China's attitude towards security in Northeast Asia.
I think the communique and the successful visit clearly showed the willingness from the both sides to further promote the mutual beneficial strategic relationship, and it will have a profound impact on the further improvement of the bilateral relations. China, of course, maintains that all parties concerned should show flexibility, should show pragmaticness, and to do more to stabilize the regional security situation. We are cooperating with all countries concerned, with DPRK and also with Japan, and we hope to find a better solution, helpful to each country and helpful to the regional stability.
Let's move on to some other news now. China has unveiled its most concrete plan yet to reform and stimulate the car-making industry. Speaking on Friday, the State Council said it will concentrate more power in the hands of fewer auto companies. Here's Qi Tianxing with the details.
The plan said China's auto industry has been impacted by the global financial crisis since the second half of 2008. Profits at major car companies have dropped off significantly. The country needs to speed up its restructuring of the industry, but has been hampered by outdated technology and weak innovation. Under the Council's plan, China aims to raise domestic car sales to 10 million units this year. The plan also targets a 10% sales growth each year for the next 3 years. The strategy promotes mergers and acquisitions by combining the country's 14 major automakers into 10. This policy will aid product innovation and slash wasteful spending. The government's long-term vision of the auto market landscape in China is one in which 3 large automakers sell more than 2 million vehicles per year and at least 4 smaller groups sell over 1 million. The plan also includes more government incentives to boost auto purchases as well as improve auto service. Also, the government pledges to spend more on the development of hybrid vehicles. Qi Tianxing, CCTV.
On the topic of reform, China's healthcare system is also set for major reform, with a plan set for release in the near future. Now, this will alter the way hospitals make money and how patients pay for medical services. Zhou Xie takes a look at what is likely to be drawn up in this plan.
The central government has promised to spend 850 billion yuan over the next 3 years on medical services for the country's 1.3 billion residents. The reform plan is expected to set a target of at least 90% of China's residents to be covered by health insurance by 2011. Each person is expected to receive an annual subsidy of 120 yuan starting next year. Insurance coverage is currently much higher in rural areas than big cities, where only about 30% of residents are covered. The reform plan is also expected to see the Ministry of Health build a basic medicine system so important drugs are produced and distributed under government control in order to keep prices low. Across the country, the government will push to improve service at grassroots medical institutions and reduce the gap in health service standards between big cities and undeveloped areas. Analysts say the plan will also change the way public hospitals make money, cutting off income from in-hospital pharmacies. That is aimed at making drugs more affordable and stopping doctors from prescribing unneeded medications. Some controversy surrounds the new plan, however, as college students will lose their medical subsidies and have to pay for their own insurance. China began to reform its medical system in 1985, pushing market principles. That has led to soaring medical fees, a lack of affordable services, and low medical insurance coverage. In 2005, the State Council deemed those reforms unsuccessful and called for new ideas.
Zhou Jie, ICS4 CCTV.
As we just saw in that preceding report, reform to national health care might mean hospitals losing the right to profit from selling medicines. Now, removing these profits is expected to reduce the number of medicines prescribed as well as costs to patients. Chen Chuan takes a look at what this could mean for patients in Shanghai.
Current system, patients can pick up their prescriptions at hospital-run pharmacies. While that is convenient, prices are much higher than those charged by outside drugstores.
It's 5 yuan more if I buy this medicine in the hospital. I need 4 packs every month. So multiply that by 12 months, and that's 240 yuan more a year.
There are more than 340,000 drugstores citywide, and residents can use their medical insurance cards to pay in most of these stores. While patients can choose where they buy drugs, healthcare experts say hospitals have several ways of getting patients to use their pharmacies.
Most hospitals use electronic prescriptions for patients. All their information is saved on a card that can only be read by hospital computers. Without a written prescription, patients actually do not have any real choice on where to buy their drugs.
Most local hospitals earn about half of their profits from drug sales. And analysts say many doctors are not happy about writing out prescriptions, so patients can buy medicine somewhere cheaper. Separating pharmacies from hospitals could solve that problem.
4 people have been confirmed dead after an explosion destroyed the office building of a mining company in northern Shanxi province. Friday's blast hit the Dongfang Zhenxing coal mining company. A deputy director of the company was among the dead. Initial investigations have ruled out arson. Police say the blast was caused by explosives stored within the building. Now, 8 more senior government officials have been fired or disciplined for supervisory failure in last year's scandal involving Sanlu milk powder. The officials were from agencies dealing with quality, agriculture, health, industry and food safety. Experts say the punishment demonstrates China's resolution to hold government officials accountable for mistakes in production and quality oversights. Melamine-contaminated milk powder left at least 6 infants dead and almost 300,000 suffering from kidney disease. The party disciplinary authority says government officials must carry out their duties conscientiously and do everything possible to strengthen supervision of food safety. Our health authorities say tests on baby care products from the U.S. company Johnson & Johnson show the chemical formaldehyde to be within permissible limits. A U.S. health advocacy group said some of the company's products contain chemicals that might cause cancer with prolonged use. 26 shampoo and bath products were tested. Samples for only one bath product contained 3.27 milligrams per kilogram of the carcinogenic substance dioxane. China has not imported these products since 2008, since all Johnson & Johnson baby products for sale in China are made right here at home. U.S. authorities have not yet responded to the issue. The Chinese side is still conducting analyses to see whether such a small amount of dioxane would be harmful to human beings. Still to come here on China Today. Experts try to wake people up to the need for a good night's rest on World Sleep Day. And repairs start to get Beijing's main thoroughfare ready to welcome the country's 60th birthday on October the 1st. A delegation of Tibetan deputies to China's National People's Congress has arrived in Canada after a 6-day visit to the United States. The 5 members of the delegation met the press in Toronto and discussed the development of Tibet in various fields. Shinsa Tenzin Chodrak, a living Buddha and head of the delegation, said the world financial crisis has not affected Tibet too much, thanks to the backing of the central government. He also said the so-called, quote, Greater Tibet advocated by the Dalai Lama is not an historical fact and does not fit with reality. The delegation told the press that freedom of religion is one of the basic rights of Chinese citizens, including all Tibetans. It added that Tibetan cultural heritage has been well protected and developed over the last 50 years. The Russian year in China will begin next week, and Russia will reciprocate with a Chinese year in 2010. The Russian Foreign Ministry says the language exchange will further boost ties between the two countries. A Russian delegation headed by Deputy Prime Minister Alexander Zhukov will come to China for the opening ceremony of the Russian year. Our language ties will certainly get another boost when China Central Television launches its Russian channel that's due later this year. The second phase of clinical trials has begun for an AIDS vaccine developed in China by Chinese researchers. The State Food and Drug Administration says these trials will involve the participation of high-risk groups. The first phase of testing was conducted on healthy groups, and results indicate the vaccine is safe. But the vaccine must undergo 3 phases of clinical trials before it can go into production. Research began in 1996. Total HIV infections worldwide have exceeded 60 million, and more than 30 million AIDS patients have died so far. On March 21st is World Sleep Day. Here in China, a recent survey has shown that nearly 80% of people do not get a good night's rest on a regular basis. But experts have stepped in with tips on how to help out. Emma Moore with this story.
The increasingly fast pace of modern life and growing competitive pressure is depriving many people of their right to a sound sleep. Disturbed sleep patterns can severely impair people's lives and affect their ability to work.
I can't sleep well.
I have many dreams, and if I wake at 3 a.m., I cannot go back to sleep.
Although many people are affected by sleep problems, experts say they're taking the wrong approach. They either worry too much or they don't pay enough attention. Experts say a good rest is crucial for humans to function well.
The first thing is to be in good psychological condition. The second is to have a healthy body. The third is to have a healthy way of life. Only by having all these 3 things can you enjoy a healthy sleep.
Dr. Zhang explains that to be in good psychological condition, people should learn to let things go and not worry too much about trivial details. A healthy body requires daily exercise, no matter how busy people are. And a healthy lifestyle means going out less at night, going to bed and getting up early, drinking less coffee, tea and alcohol during the day, and avoiding these beverages at night. But for people with severe sleep problems, experts recommend a medical consultation. Emma Moore, CCTV.
Beijing's main thoroughfare, Chang'an Avenue, is getting a major facelift for a grand parade to mark the 60th anniversary of the People's Republic on October the 1st. The full upgrade requires reinforcing the road surface, 12 kilometers in all. The sidewalks along the avenue will also be renovated. Repair work will take place daily between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. City traffic departments will keep the public informed on the sections under construction and suggest alternative routes for drivers who might be affected. And that brings us to the end of China Today. I'm Wei Sulok in Beijing from the team here. Thanks for your time and goodbye.